The Dodgers walked out of Target Field with a 2-1 win on Monday night. Ohtani crushed a leadoff home run on the second pitch of the game. Freeman broke the tie with a 423-foot bomb in the sixth. Eric Lauer was virtually untouchable through 6 hitless innings. By every measure, it should have been a night to celebrate. But behind the final score, something far more alarming was unfolding in the Dodgers' dugout. In the second inning, Kyle Tucker went down with low back spasms. In the third inning, Dalton Rushing was removed with a concussion scare after a foul tip slammed directly into his mask. 2 starters. Gone. 1 game. And now, the Dodgers are heading into Game 2 against Minnesota with an outfield that is crumbling and a catcher situation that has become one of the most urgent emergencies in the league. What is actually happening inside this Dodgers roster right now? This is exactly the kind of situation that tests whether a team is truly built to go deep into October, or whether they are just riding the talent of a few elite names. And right now, the Dodgers are being tested hard. Let's start with Tucker. He felt his back tighten between the first and second innings. He tried to push through his next at-bat, but the moment he rounded second base on a Tommy Edman single, it became impossible to hide. He was removed immediately, replaced by Alex Call as a pinch runner. Roberts tried to stay calm after the game, saying he is not overly concerned, pointing out that Tucker has dealt with back spasms before and played through them the next day. But here is what people need to understand: this is not just a minor inconvenience. Tucker is in the first year of a 4-year, $240 million contract, and he has not been the player Los Angeles expected. Entering Monday, he was hitting .234 with just 6 home runs and an OPS plus of 98, which is barely league average. The Dodgers needed him to break out. Instead, he is heading for tests and the injury list. The timing could not be worse. And that is just one half of the problem. What about Rushing's situation? Because from a roster depth standpoint, that one might actually be more serious. Rushing's situation is genuinely alarming when you understand the full picture. He was hit by a foul tip on the very first pitch of the game. It struck him directly on the mask, and the Dodgers wasted no time pulling him into concussion protocol. He passed the initial test Monday night, but concussion protocol requires a second evaluation 24 hours later, and the team has already confirmed he is unlikely to start in Game 2. Now here is the layer that makes this critical. Will Smith, the Dodgers' primary catcher and an all-star caliber player, is already on the 10-day injured list with neck inflammation. There is currently no timeline for his return. Smith was initially expected to miss just 1 game, and now it has stretched beyond 3 weeks. With Smith out and Rushing now in doubt, the only experienced catcher left on the 40-man roster is Chucky Robinson, who came in to finish Monday's game. Robinson is hitless in 11 at-bats this season. He had a chance to drive in a run in the 4th inning with 2 runners on base and struck out. This is a real problem. So Dave Roberts came out after the game and confirmed what everyone already suspected: the Dodgers will be making an emergency call-up of another catcher ahead of Game 2. But what makes this particular call-up remarkable is the name attached to it. Reports indicate that Shohei Ohtani himself recommended this young catcher to the front office. When the best player in baseball vouches for someone personally, that changes everything about how you view that call-up. What does it mean when Ohtani's name is attached to this roster decision? It means everything. Think about what Ohtani does as a hitter. He sees pitchers at the highest level every single day. He knows what a good pitch framer looks like from the batter's box. He understands game calling, sequencing, and how a catcher controls the rhythm of a game better than almost anyone. When Ohtani says a catcher is ready, that is not an emotional endorsement. That is an evaluation from someone who processes the game at a level that most players cannot even comprehend. The fact that the GM acted on that recommendation immediately tells you how much weight Ohtani carries inside that organization, not just as a player, but as a baseball mind. This is a player who has completely transformed how the Dodgers operate, both on the field and in the front office. That is a remarkable statement. But let's be honest about what this call-up actually means for the lineup in Game 2. The Dodgers are already without Teoscar Hernandez. Now Tucker is in serious doubt. The outfield is essentially collapsing in real time. How does Roberts piece together a starting lineup with these pieces missing? This is where you see the difference between a well-constructed roster and one that is just hoping for health. The Dodgers do have depth. Alex Call filled in admirably on Monday, going 2-for-3 at the plate. Tommy Edman is a versatile veteran who can shift positions. But the reality is that without Tucker in right field, Los Angeles is sending out an outfield that looks nothing like what was planned at the start of this series. Justin Wrobleski takes the mound for Game 2, and he has been one of the most reliable starters in the National League this season, sitting at 8-2 with a 2.72 ERA. But even the best starting pitcher needs run support, and with the outfield missing 2 starters and an emergency catcher behind the plate, the offensive construction of this lineup becomes a real challenge for Roberts to solve. And yet, the Dodgers still won Monday. Even with Tucker gone in the second inning. Even with Rushing gone in the third. Even with Chucky Robinson striking out in a crucial moment. They still found a way to get to 50 wins, becoming the first team in baseball to reach that mark this season. What does that tell you about this roster? It tells you that Ohtani changes the math entirely. He hit a leadoff home run on the second pitch of the game, his 17th of the season and his 6th leadoff homer of the year. Right there, before the Dodgers even had a chance to process that Tucker was struggling, Ohtani had already put them on the board. And then when you add what Freeman did in the 6th inning, a 423-foot solo shot to center field that turned out to be the winning run, you understand why this team keeps winning even when everything is falling apart around them. These are not lucky victories. They are the product of elite players making elite plays at the exact right moment. But there is a limit to how long elite players can carry an injured roster, and that limit is fast approaching. The Dodgers entered this road trip to Minnesota already navigating significant absences. Now 2 more names have been added to the list in a single game. At what point does this injury situation become a genuine threat to their World Series aspirations? That point is now. I do not say that to be dramatic, I say it because the math demands it. Will Smith has been out for weeks with no return timeline. Hernandez is already on the IL. Tucker is now day-to-day at best. Rushing is in concussion protocol. And the backup behind all of them is a catcher with 0 hits this season. The Dodgers are 50-29. They are the best team in baseball on paper. But a World Series is not won on paper. It is won in October, when your depth gets tested every single night. If this team cannot address these roster issues before the trade deadline, the gap between them and other contenders in the National League will begin to close. The injury list is not just a medical concern anymore. It is a competitive concern. So what needs to happen in the next 24 to 48 hours? What are the most urgent moves Roberts and the front office need to make before Game 2? 3 things need to happen. First, Rushing needs to pass his second concussion evaluation, and if he clears protocol, he goes right back into the lineup. That would provide immediate relief. Second, the emergency call-up that Ohtani recommended needs to be a player who can actually handle the moment, not just a body filling a roster spot, but someone with the composure to step into a playoff-caliber environment and contribute. Third, Roberts needs to have an honest conversation with the medical staff about Tucker. If there is any risk of aggravating that back injury, you do not play him. A $240 million player with a recurring back problem is someone you protect, even if it means losing a game or 2 now to save him for August and September. The Dodgers have enough to win without Tucker for a night. They do not have enough to win in October without him healthy. What ultimately stands out from Monday night is not the 2-1 final score. It is not even Lauer's brilliant 6 hitless innings. What stands out is that this team survived a genuine disaster, 2 key players lost in the same game, an emergency backup behind the plate, a depleted outfield, and still found a way to win. That tells you something about the character of this roster. But character and talent alone cannot overcome a roster in crisis. The next few days will define what kind of team the 2026 Dodgers truly are. And with Ohtani personally weighing in on personnel decisions, with Freeman still swinging one of the most reliable bats in baseball, and with Roberts piecing together lineups, That would break any other manager's spirit. Los Angeles refuses to blink. The question now is how long they can keep winning before the injuries finally force them to blink first.